Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. The Crow remake has been released yesterday for those of you in the States, and here today for us in the UK and presumably the rest of the world. It's not doing very, very well. It's getting the kind of feedback you'd expect it to. I did a report. It's been taken down from test screenings. The test screenings weren't terrible, but it doesn't really matter. The thing is that the film will always be mired with its name. Should never have been given The Crow as a name. You title this anything else, and it would be received significantly better just because of maybe the action or, do you know what I mean? Something along those lines. I'm not saying it deserves a higher score because they've tried to co-opt The Crow as a name, but I just think it's interesting. So, shall we take a look? Yes, we shall. Let's take a look. So, the initial score was released, and as you can imagine, it was not great. Not great at all, though there is some positive reviews now. So it's slightly improved, but again, still not good. Oh dear, oh dear. Dear, oh dear. So, initial reviews and comments. Oh, side note, I should be going to watch this today and giving you my review. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. The review embargo, yeah, pretty much the day of its release, which is, again, not really a great sign. That's never really a great sign. But it says here, so the movie arrives in theatres tomorrow. This was yesterday, but again, there were some previews. A lot of people in the States could watch it yesterday. But the review embargo is only just lifted, and this is usually not a great sign. Sure. The verdicts aren't great. So a handful of positive reviews. The majority feel that The Crow is simply awful. Lame. And the movie was at 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. We'll take a look at that and see if it's changed. But just from some of the headlines here, The Crow review. Bill Skarsgård's lugubrious reboot scarcely improves on the original's disposable sequels. Not good. My source that watched it said he's the best part of this. Bill Skarsgård gives it his all. He's great, allegedly. The Crow reboot film steps up to the challenge of honouring the original film while charting its own course. That's actually positive. The Crow is an obscene display of excess by a director who grossly misunderstands the material he is drawing from. Our very own Brady has swooped in with his take on the new film adaptation of the classic Gothic revenge story. Yeah, it is. I mean, I said it at the time when I did that video, it's not really like the graphic novel either, and it's not really like the original. It's kind of its own thing, and that's what I mean. Like, it's a weird thing. They just using the name. There's elements of it which make sense, but could have called this anything. Would have been received better, I think. Like many remakes, The Crow feels perfunctory and thoughtless. Excellent. Lifeless, dull, meaningless as a remake. Ugh, brutal. The Crow review. This daffy remake is for the birds. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. And it even says it here. It overcomplicates the plot from the comics. Not really a good sign. The Crow 2.0 achieves a special kind of depressing IP math. A decade plus of development. Long in the works. 26 credited producers, countless scenes devoid of connective tissue, adding up to 111 incompetent, soulless minutes. 111? I will have to ask how long it was at test screenings. It may have been longer than that. They may have chopped a whole bunch out, because it's been sat from test screen. It test screened quite a while ago, like last year. So it's been sat for a really long time. They may have chopped a whole bunch out. I don't know. I don't care what anyone says. The Crow was a lot of fun, but I don't have nostalgia glasses for the 94 version. Loved all the gothic noir visuals, and Bill Skarsgård killed it. That aligns with what I was told from my source, is that Bill Skarsgård is the best thing. He gives it his all in this. And it's you're watching it for the action, was what I was told. A downgrade from the 94 original. Everything is a downgrade from that. You've got to remember that. You shouldn't compare it to the original. Although they always will, and it's perfectly reasonable to do so. It just seems that you're never going to achieve the heights of the original, ever. So it says, a downgrade from the 94 original, The Crow is a bland remake that's only partially redeemed by its extremely bloody and insanely gory action sequences. Still, audiences are better off without this utterly unnecessary cinematic resurrection. The Crow is a big dud, quite boring, drags for the first 40 minutes and includes unlikable characters with hollow motives. The acting is also weak, with the lead channeling Anakin's delivery from the prequels. Only bright spot, a bloody action sequence towards the end, which they did actually reveal in the trailer. Again, revealed from my source. The Crow fails to account for anything that made the original an enduring cult classic. Shame. Apparently a disastrous reimagining. Look, I'm not going to say the new Crow is amazing or anywhere near the level of the original, but there have been some bad Crow movies. This is decent enough. I had an okay time, but the pacing is deadly and much of the script is banal. Since I'm not an official critic, The Crow is almost on par with Borderlands for being one of the worst adaptations of 2024, maybe of the decade. Whoa. I won't call it the best film I've seen, but it wasn't the worst either. Though the cinematography has some beautiful moments, the characters, especially Eric, felt a little flat. We know almost nothing about him from start to finish. Shame. Shame. Does it have a post-credit scene? Shall we just... No, it doesn't. There you go. Not really spoilers. Doesn't have a post-credit scene. But anyway, it has bumped up ever so slightly. So now it's at 21%. So yesterday... Well, opened with 6%. Then it moved up to... What was it, like 12? I think it moved up to 12%. Let's scroll up. 13%. Now it's at 21. Still not good. This is weird. The Crow is perhaps the most romantic, bloodiest time you can have at the movies so far this year. Bill Skarsgård and FKA Twigs beautifully bring the iconic gothic romance to life. Huh. I didn't hear that much about them, to be fair. Isn't a perfect movie, but I loved its raw approach. Felt like an independent film about two broken people who weren't meant for love, but found each other only to be torn apart. Slow start, but gets better as it continues with an awesome fight scene at the opera. Alright then. Alright, there's some more positive here. Yes, it's messy, but The Crow kept me intrigued. Skarsgård and Twigs have a lovely chemistry. It's very horror forward, and it's trying to be nuanced with its themes while delivering some all-time gnarly kills. Huh. And then some more negative stuff as well, but interesting. So there you go. I will ask, what do you guys think? Let me know down below. Leave your thoughts there. I will give you my review soon, today or tomorrow, just depending on when I get a chance. So yeah, again, just to reiterate, should never have been made. Or, if it was going to get made, should never have been called this. Or, if it was going to get made and it was going to be called The Crow, shouldn't have been about Eric Draven. I think we can all probably agree with that. And I don't know if it's going to be good or not. I have no idea. But let me know what you think down below. If you're new here, hit subscribe. Turn the bell notifications on. And if you like what I do and you want to keep the lights on, literally, support me via Patreon. It's the first link down below. Why? Because YouTube does demonetize the channel. So help a brother out for $2 a month. Cheers. Or more, actually. But cheers. Take care. Bye-bye now.